Hi! Welcome to this part of my tutorial, where I show you how to run a pre-generated module as a solo experience. I am using the Quick and Classic role-playing game and the Solo Adventuring Toolkit. If you haven't seen the other parts of this tutorial, please check out the playlist in the description below. Before we begin, I want to talk about the physical book of Quick and Classic. You can purchase this book in DriveThruRPG. It's available as print on demand. The quality is really good. In general, all of the softcover books of DriveThruRPG are great. The only ones with problems are the hardcover books, even the premium ones. The hardcover always has some sort of problem exactly where it connects with the first or last page of the book itself. But when it comes to these softcover, somewhat thin books, the quality is excellent. And this book is very portable. It fits in your hand, it's very thin, so you can take it anywhere, and because the Quick and Classic role-playing game is so simple to understand, so easy to play, this is the perfect role-playing game to introduce someone into the hobby immediately. Maybe you are visiting a friend or going to any place, you could pull out Quick and Classic and have a complete role-playing game experience right then and there. And just in case you are curious, the quality of the paper is also good. It's not glossy paper or anything like that. It's a typical good quality paper. Now let's talk about this part of the adventure. The adventurers will not take unnecessary risks. I decided to avoid the room with the ghosts and the room with the chasm altogether, because I suspect that room is going to connect with the southeast area of this dungeon. So we decided to backtrack all the way to the door with the two locks. The adventurers arrived to that place safely. They used their two keys on the two locks, and so the door is opened. I considered resting before that, but I didn't want to risk random encounters. The adventurers are only slightly wounded, and I have a couple of spells remaining. Therefore, I decided to take my chances. The adventurers enter this octagonal room, illuminated by a red glow. In the center lies a huge gold statue. The creature looks like a giant slug with the head of a grim old man. Fionn the Barbarian throws the small hammer that I've been using to test things out at the statue, and then I read the next paragraph. It says that on the north wall there is a marble altar with a black metal basin, an obsidian dagger, a half-consumed incense stick, and a gong with a hammer. I should have spiked the door, because the moment I entered this room, the two exits out of it slam shut, and then the gold covering the statue starts to crack, to fall apart. So the hammer was useless. This statue was going to animate regardless. It turns out that the painting deciphered at the start of this adventure tells you the ritual to stop this statue of a deity known as Sluggoth. So you need to recognize or identify Sluggoth by making an Enigma action of difficulty 3. Then you need to light the incense, spill fresh blood in the basin, and then hit the gong 3 times with the hammer. This ritual will stop the monster reanimating. I decided to handle the situation in the following way. Because I have the advantage of knowing how things are going to work out, I decided that the moment that I made a successful Enigma check, that's the moment where the statue is defeated. So I made my roll and I failed. The statue animates and sprays acid into everyone's bodies, so everybody is wounded. Ardas had to pour blood for the ritual before that, so he's a bit more wounded. Balkan steps forth and blasts the statue in the face with an eldritch bolt, attempting to blind it. But I fail again. The statue still hits everyone, injuring pretty much everyone in the party. A few are about to die as they try to identify this creature and they try to figure out how to carry out the ritual. Then Hanzo casts a protective barrier, but it also fails. Everyone is showered in acid. The only ones left alive are Ardas and Fionn. So they on their own, the two of them against this terrifying living statue of sorts, they try to carry out the ritual and identify the proper process, but they also fail and everyone is reduced to a bloody goo when they are melted by the acid. Sadly, the adventurers were defeated. And this is the risk when you are playing things without cheating. And I've actually seen this in some YouTube videos where someone is playing with a game book, you know, those choose your own adventure, choose your own path sort of books, or solo adventures as well, solo role-playing game adventures. And sometimes they cheat. They say something like, oh well, if I fail this roll, I am going to count it as if I had succeeded and I'm going to keep on going with the adventure. And like I said, I feel that you take away from the challenge, from the reality within the fiction of the adventure. So this concludes my solo tutorial or walkthrough or playthrough on how to play a pre-generated module. For my next tutorial, I want to play perhaps an event-based adventure, something a bit more complex. In the case of this first adventure of the Quick and Classic rulebook, it's a standard dungeon crawl, perfect to introduce new players into the hobby. I think it's great, but now I want to explain how to run an event-based adventure or an adventure with a lot of social interactions, secrets, all of that. I still need to decide what system I am going to use and the adventure. I am going to show you how to run a pre-generated adventure in the case that you have already read the adventure and you feel, oh, this adventure is now useless as solo material because I already know the secrets, the surprises. I am going to show you how to randomize things, how to run it adequately according to my own way of running things. But like I said, maybe it's going to take me a couple of months or more to choose the correct adventure, the one that will serve better to show you different methods and techniques to run pre-generated modules that you have already played, or perhaps that you have already read. You just read the entire process, the events, the sequence of encounters, etc., and you feel like they are not surprising anymore. So I am going to try to show you how to run those modules. Thank you for watching this solo tutorial. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. Just some final thoughts. As you can see, things were quite simple. You read one paragraph at a time, and then you apply the tools of your toolkit of choice. In this case, I was using the Solo Adventuring Toolkit. Most of the time, I was using the guidelines to run a solo adventure or pre-generated adventure by reading a paragraph at a time, running it real time. I also use the as trace table in a different way from what is expected in the Solo Adventuring Toolkit, and the process of masking or covering the areas of the map that you have not yet visited. So it was all very simple. I highly recommend, or I encourage you, that you try running a pre-generated module as a solo experience. But if you need any clarifications, if you have any questions, definitely please let me know in the comments section. I think that perhaps in a few weeks I am going to bring out a video where I give you like a step-by-step process of this method of running pre-generated modules, exactly like I ran the first adventure of Quick and Classic. So once again, thanks for watching, and thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.